Boxy works in the Chrome browser, but it does not automatically save like something that you're familiar with, like maybe Google Docs. You have to save as you go. So this is a project I just started. And before I get too far, I want to make sure that I've saved it. So I'm going to go to File, Save to Disk As. And I want to make sure that when I'm saving it on my computer where I know it's going to be. So right now it's going to kind of default to my files and my downloads. If you want to go to your Google Drive or someplace else, you want to start a specific folder, that's fine, but make sure you know where it's going. You're going to change it right here where it says all files to SVG, and then you're going to name it the appropriate project with your name. So again, I know where it's going. It's going to my files on my Chromebook. I've changed it from all files to SVG, and I've named it appropriately. So now that I've saved it, I'm going to go and double check that it's there. So I'm going to go to Files on my Chromebook. I'm going to go to my downloads, and here it is right here. And there's two things I want you to check after you've saved it that first time. That the name is there, and that it says SVG under the file type, and then it says it has a file size. So this says 2 megabytes, which is great. If you look down my list here, you'll see this one that says face 0 file. That means I saved that one incorrectly. I need to make sure that I've saved it as an SVG and that it's showing something here in that file size, because otherwise this won't have saved correctly. And this is a common mistake that we had to learn the hard way as we started last semester. Then as you're working, let's say that I change stuff and I want to kind of, update my save, you have to do it manually. If you don't save, it's not going to be there. If you leave your tab open and get to doing something else and then your computer restarts or you run out of power, you've lost anything that you haven't saved. So make sure that you're saving your work by just going to File, Save, because this is just the first time. Now we can just go to File, Save, or you can Control S. You'll always get this little box and you can just say yes, edit file. So again, anytime I do anything, I need to save, Control S, edit file, and that's just telling it that yes, you can change that one that you started, okay? And then it's automatically updating. So that, let's say I've, done everything I've done. I'm going to go, the next day I'm going to come back. I'm going to launch the app. And then I want to open that file that I was working on. Look for that SVG file that I started. And then you can open back up your file. And there it is. When you're totally done with your project, you're going to want to export it, because just saving it as an SVG, when you turn that in on Classroom, the SVG is not going to look correct. It's going to look kind of wonky. Things aren't going to look the way you want them. It's good to have that SVG file, but to turn in for presentation, to share on your website, to share on Padlets, you're going to want a PNG of it. So we're going to go to the Export panel, which is down here at the bottom. It's going to default the first time to SVG. So make sure you change that to PNG, which is up at the top. You got to roll up a little bit. And you'll notice that it shows you a couple things. So the first thing it's showing is that I'm exporting at 500 by 500 pixels. That's super, super tiny. I shared with you about setting up your file, and I didn't do that on here. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and go to my geometry panel. I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to make my document 2,550 wide by 3,300 high. I'm actually going to switch that around. I'm going to do 3,300 by 2,550. That resolution, I'm sorry, those, that aspect ratio is about the same as a regular piece of paper. So you'll notice how different that is, right? I was only this big before. Now it's way bigger. So I'm going to Control A to select everything. I'm going to hold Shift and click and drag and make it bigger. Way better. Okay. So now when I go back to the export panel, I have the right aspect ratio, the right size to my document, but my resolution is only at 96. I'm going to bring this puppy all the way up to 400. That's going to help keep it nice and clear and at a high resolution. Also here I have the background, which is set as transparent. And I'm going to leave that right now because I think that'll be cool. I'll be able to use it in different ways as I want. And so then I can go down here and go to export. And it's downloaded to my downloads in the folder. And you'll see that it kept that name, but now it says PNG. So now I have my SVG file and my PNG file. I will turn both of those in on Classroom, but that PNG is going to be what I can share everywhere so that others can also see it. Make sure you follow these steps and let me know if you need any help.